All right, welcome everyone. Today is July 6, 2017. This is the bi-weekly meeting of the Storage Special Interest Group for Kubernetes. As a reminder, this meeting is public and recorded. Today on the agenda, we're going to go over V1.8 Q3 planning, the second round of this. We did the first round last time. The things that we want to finish up here is make sure we have reviewers and assignees assigned to every task. Go over the priorities and make sure that if there's any feature bug that needs to be opened, that someone is assigned and going to open that. Then we're going to go through PRs that need attention. Looks like we've got a few that folks have already posted in here. If you have any PR that needs attention from the wider community, paste it into the agenda doc. Then we're going to go over some design reviews. We've got two here with not very much information. We can go over those. Then Brad has an item to go over the external storage repo. And then Tushar added an item about updating on how to improve collaboration between multiple groups. This is an issue that I think our community is starting to run into now that we've matured, and I think we've got more than 50 people showing up to this meeting. So we need to make sure that we remain transparent, open, and collaborative. So first off, let's kick it off with the planning spreadsheet. We went through and added items. If you think there is an item for 1.8 that we should be working on that's not on this spreadsheet, please add it to the agenda. We could review those at the end. In the meantime, let's just go through these line by line. CSI volume plugin, I think priority here is valid. One, it's a multi-release, multi-quarter project. For this quarter, we're targeting a design. It does need a feature repo issue, and the feature repo issue is already assigned. I'm going to be driving it. I don't believe there is a assignee for a reviewer. Anybody want to jump on this? And to be clear, we want at least one person as owner and reviewer, but obviously these are going to be multiple people working on it. So the purpose of this is to at least have one person assigned to each, and then you can grow from there. We just want to make sure that there's someone that we can talk to.
I can review it.
Cool. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, if you want a second reviewer, you can put me down.
Cool.
Searching for my unmute button.
Sounds good. All right, capacity isolation resource management. This is something that Jing is brought to alpha in 1.7. She is going to continue to drive it. And it looks like we already have a reviewer. If anybody else wants to work on that, please reach out to Jing. Local persistent storage support. This is something Michelle brought to alpha in 1.7. We're going to continue to drive it. Michelle will drive it. We already have a reviewer, and if you want to work on that, reach out to Michelle. Testing, Erin's been doing a wonderful job here, and she's volunteered to pick this up again. I don't think we necessarily need a reviewer there. Block volume support, Erin is driving this conversation as well, and looks like we have a couple other owners assigned as well. And reviewers look good. This is P1 for our group for this quarter. I think that makes sense. Targeting alpha for this milestone seems reasonable. The conversations have been going pretty well so far. Enable containerization of mount dependencies. I think the priority is correct here. One, Jan has a proposal out. There's already a feature open for it. And Humble has agreed to review it. Azure DD refactor. So let's fix this. Never. And then so Jace is going to be leading this, and Wamin is going to be reviewing. And it is bug level work. Volume plugin metrics. Hemant is going to lead this, and we need a reviewer for this. Anybody want to sign up? Sorry, did someone say something? Did I miss that?
I can sign up if there's no takers.
Cool. Thanks, Brad. And let's see, do we need a feature issue for this? I think we did for the last volume metric, so we probably should have one. Hemant, are you okay opening a feature issue to track this work?
Yeah, I'll open it today and I'll open a design, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Aaron, if you're on the line, I missed that. Could you open a feature to track block volume support in the feature repo? Next up is the NFS wedging issue. This is bug level work. Hemant is doing this. We need a reviewer for the design. It is actually a design change. It's not a simple bug fix. So who wants to volunteer to review this?
Put Wam and Chen down.
Okay. Next up is snapshots. I think we left out what the target is going to be for this release. Do we want to call it alpha or?
It's alpha.
Alpha, okay. And Tomas is the right person here, and Humble is going to be reviewing it. I'm not sure if Jing is on the line. Jing, I don't know how much. Let's see here. She is not. I'll sync up with her offline and see how much she wants to be involved with this going forward for the next quarter. Priority for snapshots resizing we set to 2. That seems okay. Resizing going to alpha. Hemant is leading this. Hemant, you're going to have a very heavy quarter this quarter.
Yeah, so the resizing is like a lot of code is already written. I'm going to probably call for another follow-up meeting next week to discuss some remaining issues, like especially around the file system resize. The controller resize is easy, so yeah.
Okay. Okay, and if you feel like you're overloaded, feel free to ask for help. And there's a lot of people on this call. I'm sure we could find volunteers to pick up some of the stuff.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Cool. Dynamic update of PVC PV. I think we're going to leave this untracked for now because it is kind of a implementation detail depending on how the resize design lands, whether it's a requirement or not. The reason we're tracking it is that it is a fundamental change to user experience. So we want to make sure that if we go down that path, we do so very consciously, and then there's documentation to track that this change is happening. Exposing storage class parameters to end users. Jan had a proposal here. He's going to continue to drive this. Who wants to sign up for reviewer for this? This is a design change.
I can review.
It's a month. I feel like you might be overloaded this quarter, but thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me also sign up for this one. I think it's related to CSI, and I should be taking a look at it anyway. Improving the Chroot hack. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jing. She just got back from vacation, so I need to sync up whether there's any work that still needs to be done here. So for now, we're going to leave this empty, and I'll fill this in afterwards. Fix broken volume reconstruction. Chakri is working on this for 1.8. Priority 2 seems reasonable. Any reviewers for this work? This is making changes to the volume manager code in Kubelet. All right, I will volunteer for that then. Host path volume type. This is extending the host path volume API to have a volume type. There is a owner for this already, somebody who's working on it. Let me see who that was. Okay. Dzoo. I think Tim was beginning to review this. I'm going to leave him as the reviewer for now, unless someone else wants to jump in. Okay, release mount options to GA. So this was something Hamont's working on, and Humble has agreed to review. I think we're good there. It's going to GA. There's a feature issue already open there. Persistent volume API refactor for iSCSI. This is something Huamin proposed. Any reviewers for this?
You can put my name there.
All right, cool. Thanks, Brad. Is this something that's going to be, it's going to be bug level work, right? It's not necessarily sure we want to track?
Yeah, I'd say bug level.
Okay. So it should not need a feature repo bug and should be a single release. Cool. The Rook volume plugin, Steve is working on this. Is Huamin the right person to review this, Brad?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. And everything else looks good here. Next up, we've got a P3, which is PVC capacity usage stats. This is nice to have, user-friendly feature. I don't think anybody signed up to own it yet. Does anybody want to sign up? If not, it's a P3. We could leave it unassigned for now. And we can pick it up later in the quarter if needed.
I was just saying that these stats are, by the way, available as matrix, not directly as a kubectl command, but these are already available as matrix for the most part. So it's not like.
Got it. So it would be relatively low work to surface it in kubectl? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone want to take this on? It might be a good starter project. Okay, we'll leave it unassigned for now, and then we can pick it up later in the quarter.
I can take this on. This is Vaibhav from Kasten. I can take it on.
Sorry, who was that?
This is Vaibhav, vComra at Kasten. I can take it on.
Got it. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a starter project, so I'll look at it and we'll see how it goes.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. And anybody want to sign up as a reviewer for this project?
You can put me down, Vladimir.
Vlad. Awesome. Thanks, Vlad.
Sure. We're going to need a feature open in the feature repo for this. I'm going to leave that red for now, and I'll leave it up to you to create that.
Sounds good.
Data replication, Brad, this is assigned to you. We've made it a really priority, so I don't think it's worth assigning a reviewer at this point. We don't really expect much traction on this quarter, but if something happens, you can keep us updated and update this accordingly.
Okay.
Support attach detach for RWO volumes such as iSCSI, fiber channel, and RBD. So this is going in and refactoring some of the existing code to support attach, detach, and we put one priority question mark. Is everybody okay calling this one? Woman, I'm looking at you.
Woman's on PTO, so yes.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
This is a pretty big issue.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to assign myself as reviewer for this because I don't quite understand what attach detach for iSCSI might look like.
It's just a logical attach detach. This
Okay. I think the confusion that I have is my understanding was that requires code to be executed on the node machine, not remotely. So I guess that's where the disconnect is. But we can follow up offline. Allow configuration of reclaim policy in storage class. I think this was added recently by Matt Wong. Matt, do you want to give a quick summary of this?
Yeah, it's just so that people can create PVs with retain policy instead of delete.
Okay. That makes
I've
sense.
already done the work, but we just need to agree because it's an API change on storage classes. So, yeah.
And would we want to? We would want this to go in as alpha first, right?
I would say beta, just because like the actual code isn't that complicated. But
are you introducing a new field or a starting with an annotation?
it's a new field. Well, I thought the new convention is that everything has a field, and then we just gate it somehow. So it's a field.
Can you add a field and keep it beta? Is that possible? I must have missed that.
I don't know. That's what
Okay.
I was told.
On this particular thing, I would say the risk is low enough, and it's falls in with the convention of the other storage plugins enough that it's really not that risky, right?
Okay, that's fine. Let's call it beta, and let's just make sure that any changes to the API are not permanent until we go to GA. But it sounds like it's very reasonable. And priority on this, we want to call it 2.
Sure.
Okay. It should be release worthy. It does need a feature repo issue, and Matt, I'll leave that up to you to open. And who wants to be a reviewer on this?
I can do that, Saad. This is Jeff.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jeff. All right, cool. So these are all the items that we're tracking for Q3 for the 1.8 release. Does anybody have anything else they think should be added to this list? It doesn't look like it. So we're going to do, for every meeting, we're going to go over this spreadsheet and track the status. It looks like we have a lot on our plate. For those of you who are working on multiple items, use the priorities as hints on what to focus on. If you have to pick between 2 things, pick the higher priority item. Let the lower priority things drop if needed. And feel free to ask for help. We've got a lot of people in this community, and I know a lot of people want to jump in and try to help. So don't feel like you're in this alone. And that's it. So I think we can close up the first item on the agenda. Second item is PRs to discuss that need attention. First up is the Nutanix volume plugin. Is anybody from Nutanix here want to talk about it?
Yeah, this is Subodh from Nutanix. This is a persistent volume plugin like other volume plugins that is there, and it provides dynamic volume provisioning as well as static support for the static.
Okay, Subodh, I'm going to go ahead and add this to the list of items to track for 1.8. And
okay,
I will assign you as the owner for this. And so we're going to make sure that this gets in for 1.8. You just need to make sure that you follow the process and create documentation and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
And Brad, is it okay to assign Wamin to review this as well, since he seems to be our plugin guy?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank you. We're going to keep this as a P2 single release. We'll go to GA.
Can we ask for like a, maybe not during the storage SIG, but as a one-off, a demo of this? I'm not familiar with Neutronics myself, nor do I really know a way to test it.
So I think they did a demo publicly recently. They've got something working in-house. Subodh might be able to tell you more.
Yeah, I can give a demo. I don't know where, but I could give whether it's part of this meeting or separate meeting.
Separate. I'll have Wamin reach out to you, and then we can maybe set something up for the community.
Sure. Yeah.
So Subodh, you're going to need to open a feature bug to track this. This is in the Kubernetes/features repository. You just go in there, create an issue, and there's a template for the work that needs to be tracked. When you've got that issue opened up, just link to it here, and this red coloring will go away.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. So we're tracking this officially, and we'll sync up on this every meeting. Next up is the Rook volume plugin. This kind of fell off my radar. I think this was contentious because of the way that the plugin was written.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Steve. So we did get a lot of feedback from the community. Thank you for that. And we do have a plan of action. So we are probably not gonna do the the new CRD way to do the volume attach and mount. We had a good conversation with Legit from the API team, and I think we are. We're gonna be doing two other mechanisms like config maps or so. So I'll update this PR with these changes, and I'll let Kwame, I guess, he's our reviewer, and I'll let him know when he's ready for review.
Okay. And do you want to give context to the rest of the group about what the point of contention was?
Right. So we wanted to do the root volume plugin to operate in a slightly different way. We wanted to make it more of a controller base, since everything Kubernetes is more controller based, where you set a desired state and there's something else, something there that watches it, and then and make that state happen. And we wanted to have TPR, in this case CRD. To define that state. So basically the volume plugin will be very thin, will be just, the main purpose of it will be just to create a CRD whenever it needs a volume attached, and there will be a root controller that would watch for that, and then and then do the actual mounting. There was some contention about things because the root volume plugin lives in core, and because CRDs, the custom resource definition, are API extension point, which are not really part of core. And when you have something in core, which is the volume plugin, calling something that is extension, it's been considered as a layer violation. So that's pretty much like the dilemma right now. So
okay. And so between the two options here, are you guys going with the blocking API call now, or?
No, we are exploring doing a config maps. So
okay.
The reason why we don't want to do a blocking API, because we want to take advantage of all the things that Kubernetes has in terms of discoverability, security, and authentication. So if we have a blocking API, we need to specify, the user will have to specify the endpoint, user secrets, and all that stuff. And we want to kind of avoid that. So that's what we wanted to do. We tried to do the CRDs first.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do something, if we use a config map instead, then we don't have to worry about the user don't have to worry about providing an endpoint, don't have to worry about providing user password, and so that will be managed by Kubernetes itself. So the end goal is actually to make the user experience better, I guess.
Okay, and the idea would be that Rook can still remain declarative and watch the config map instead of the CRD.
Correct. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So you're going to hate me for this, but I think we've pushed back on previous volume plugins that tried to write data into a config map. Scale.io was one. I think Vlad was the author of that.
Yes.
But we could take that discussion offline. I think it's better than doing a CRD, but we can take that offline.
Okay. Okay, we can take it offline, and feel free to put your comment on the PR itself.
Yep.
That way, but yeah, okay.
After in one place. Cool. All right. Thank you for driving this, and we'll get into Q&A. All right, cool. So next up is PR 46821. Plugin testing, especially CI testing, skip due to this. Jeff, did you add this?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I think that was on our last call, Saad, and we didn't get to it.
Sure.
So I've been getting, so the status, just very briefly, is I've been getting good support from Michelle. I think she might be off work a little bit this week or all of this week.
Yeah, she's out this week.
Okay, so it's stalled some, but I've been addressing her comments as well as other reviewers, and it's just sitting there waiting for final approval.
Okay, cool. If it's non-critical, then she'll be back on Monday, and she should be able to finish this off.
Yeah, it is addressing two issues. One, I think one or both of them are from Michael, related to higher volume I/O tests on the plugins.
Got it. That's something that we've been asking for a while, so this is great.
Right. It's their old issues. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you for working on this.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so for design reviews, we have poll 713 related to PR issue number 47117. Does anybody want to comment on this or have any background?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Leon, and I work from OpenSCS team. So about this proposal, my colleague Howard has given a simple introduction on the last meeting, and today I will focus more on the use case and some basic implementation. So Saad, can you open the file? The PR file change?
Sure. Actually, you know what? Let me stop sharing, and then you can share your screen. That way you can drive.
No, can you help me open the file because my.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you view it? Yeah. Okay. So about this proposal. So about the motivation, so as we all know, Kubernetes can be deployed anywhere, including cloud platforms and bare metals. But right now, as for storage resources, you have to choose specific storage backend according to the environment Kubernetes be deployed. And here are some examples. And about the use case, one use case is we found that some storage systems like Cinder, Scale.io can provide volume resource for bare metals directly. And so in this case, how can users use these resources if the Kubernetes cluster is deployed on these bare metals? And another use case is that we got some suggestion from users that we should enrich Kubernetes storage drivers since they were using some storage system we don't support. And right now we have an option which is flex volume, but I think it would be a hard work for them to develop every storage driver because as we know, the operation of attaching volume to host is quite complicated. So I'm wondering, can we share the complex implementation and provide a simple interface for their secondary development? So our motivation is to break the limitation between storage systems and the deploy environment and to provide any storage backend regardless of environment. So as for the goal, we plan to create a standalone project in Kubernetes, and it can act as a library providing volume discovery and local management. And for any entry volume plugins which want to provide storage resource for bare metals, they can just call this library to finish volume discovery and then mount the device path to container. And we also want this project to serve for Flex Volume and the CSI plugin, and even any other storage system written in Go. And here next are some proposed design. So because there are a lot of storage protocols, and some of them are implemented in different ways according to different system types and operating system types. So it would be very complicated if we directly add these device drivers into volume plugin. So we want to create a library to communicate with kernel and expose a unified interface to volume plugins. And here next are some API objects. And first, we will design some constants, which includes some platform types and operate system types. And next are some device driver types. And the connector is an interface that indicates what outside the world can do with this library. And in this interface, you can see we will design 4 methods in the first stage. And the connector properties is used to tell storage backend how to initialize connection of volume. And as for connection information, it can use to connect a volume. And in this structure, we have driver volume type and a map called connection data, which differs from driver volume type. For example, for SCSI driver, you can use SCSI connection data here. And here is the summary of the API objects. If you want to know more information, you can just search the project called OSBrick as linked here, and which is an implementation written in Python.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stupid. I don't quite understand this. It seems kind of like another volume plugin that abstracts a lot of the current volume plugins. I'm not sure what the...
because in OpenStack, they have a project called OSBrick to do some host-side volume discovery. And for example, if you want to attach a block device to the bare metal, you have to do a lot of things, such as log in the target LAN, and then connect the volume code using the initiator, and so on.
Okay, so let me see if I get this right. So OS Brick is an adapter layer that supports multiple different volume types, and you're wanting to make a volume plugin that supports OS Brick, which would in turn add multiple volume types that the OS Brick adapter.
I think this project is much like a library, and if you want to provide storage for bare metals, you can just call the method in the connector interface as I showed, and you can just use the library to achieve the attach function.
Would this be something comparable to CSI, where this is a way to put a library of out-of-tree storage drivers into Kubernetes? Would that be a fair assessment?
Sorry, can you please say it again?
Well, it sounds like what's being proposed is a volume plugin portal or interface from Kubernetes to this external entity, this host volume discovery, that potentially has more than one storage provider attached at the external end. So in a way, this strikes me as being something similar to CSI.
No, for CSI, it's much like if you want to use storage resource such as create, delete, and show, and other method, you can use CSI. But for this project, you can use it for attaching the volume to the host.
Okay, so it would look like host local storage after this was invoked. Is that what you're saying?
You mean host local storage?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. But in this project, you can contain many different kind of storage protocols, such as SCSI, RBD, and FC, and many other storage protocols.
Okay.
I think what this is trying to do is like an adapter. For example, if you're trying to mount OpenStack Cinder on a bare metal cluster, then you have to configure cloud provider to be able to use OpenStack Cinder volumes. Otherwise, it won't work. So, but if we use this adapter, then we don't need to configure like a cloud provider to start the cluster, and we can go through this adapter instead, like the host volume discovery, and we can still use Cinder volumes from Kubernetes. Or for example, I assume the use case is if you want to use like Cinder when you're running on Amazon EBS, there's no way someone can do that, like use Cinder when running on an AWS cluster, right? I think those are the use cases that this solution is trying to.
Also, when you were doing that presentation, I noticed a URL that isn't in the meeting notes. Could you either put it there or put it in the chat?
If you have any question, you can just comment on this pull request. So
Steve, I think the URL is linked in here already in the agenda.
Oh, all right.
I think I'm having a difficulty understanding where this fits into Kubernetes as well. Haman's explanation kind of makes sense, but I'm not sure whether this is the right approach or not. I'd like to understand more about it.
Okay.
So I think the way that I try to simplify everything in Kubernetes storage side, because I'm not a very smart guy. And for me, volume plugins in Kubernetes are basically a mechanism for consuming different types of storage systems. And so far what we've done with volume plugins is that for each type of storage system, you get one volume plugin. It makes it a very nice, simple, and easy user experience for our end users. What we try to shy away from is any sort of adapter volume plugin where you have a volume plugin that then plugs in a bunch of other sub-storage systems. And the reason for that is simply because it tends to lead to a worse user experience. And for that reason, we've shied away from that so far. I'm trying to fit this into my head and see where it fits. It sounds like it's not just about consumption of storage, but also making local storage available. And we do have a local storage project that is currently underway, which is designed to make local storage, expose local storage to Kubernetes end users. And I wonder if, rather than this being a completely separate project that kind of competes with that, maybe we could roll some of the ideas of this into that.
Yeah,
would that make sense?
I think about this proposal. You can. I think it can work with local storage projects.
Okay.
Yeah. And
what was your end goal with this presentation? Is it to add a new volume plugin, or is it what is your intended end goal?
I think it's not like a Cinder plugin or other volume plugin. It's just like a library, and if you want to use it, you can just import this URL, and if you don't need it, you can not use it at all.
Okay, so it sounds like this is more informative than anything else, and that there's potential for our local storage project to take bits and pieces of this to potentially be more powerful than it is today. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then maybe we'll point Michelle at this and see if she can, or maybe you can reach out to Michelle. Her alias is MSAU. She is right here somewhere. MSAU 42. And you can take the conversation offline.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leon.
Okay.
All right, we've got about 12 minutes left. We've got one more design to discuss. Block volume support. Aaron. Looks like Aaron's not on the line. Does anybody else want to give a summary of this? So I've been attending, I'll go ahead and do it since I've been attending some of these meetings for the past few weeks. So far, we've kind of closed on what we want the API to look like. We can go over that quickly. Actually, I think we should wait for Erin to return and let her do this. I think there's still a couple of open issues, and we should probably resolve those before we present it to the wider group. So if nobody has any objections, we'll just punt this to next time. All right, we're moving it. Last item on the agenda is Tushar on the line? He isn't, but so I actually added this on his behalf last time, and it was based on a comment that he mentioned. He was trying to collaborate on the snapshots design, and it was moving very, very quickly. And when he would comment on something, the design doc would be out of date. and he was asking what a better way to collaborate would be. And I hear that, and I don't want it to be brushed under the table and ignored. I think this community is growing very quickly. There's a lot of people that attend very regularly, but I think there's only a handful of people who contribute regularly, and I don't want everyone to feel like they are not part of this community. They should be, whoever wants to contribute should be able to contribute. It's really hard to do, and with that, I'll open it up to all of you for any ideas, comments on what we can do better, what we're doing well, anything. Is somebody talking? Because we can barely hear you. No comments? Going once? Going twice? All right, well,
hey, Al,
take this.
I'm relatively new to this world. I've been listening in the last 2 weeks. I'm with a company called Forestore, and we have a kind of an enterprise-grade version of AFS, if you're familiar with the Andrew file system. And we're starting to architect how to connect it into Kubernetes. And so, really, a basic question is, and this is while there's the open source OpenAFS, we're a closed source, so we're not, just to throw that out there. What do you recommend is the best way to hook us in? I mean, I've been listening to this and just getting a handle on it, and there's the volume plugins, which involve doing something in tree, and then there's third-party resources. Can somebody give a primer on this, or maybe be willing to chat with me offline?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question, and we have very good resources for new contributors to jump in and understand the lay of the land. In this particular case, I am sure in this community is probably willing to discuss with you offline. And does anybody want to talk to Gary?
Yeah, I'll take it. And I kind of feel like if
I think you got cut off, Brad. Could you repeat that?
Sorry, my internet connection has been choppy. So if anybody has questions, comments, or just trying to get started in the community, and they don't feel comfortable emailing like the broader list with questions, I know myself and others at Red Hat are always willing to shepherd people or to spend time with them to help bring them up to speed. If they just want to reach out directly and kind of ask direct questions or to get the lay of the land, we're more than happy to help point people in the right direction. So Gary, if you want to bring me, I can get you in contact with someone that's real close with the volume plugins, and kind of get you rolling on that too.
That'd be great. By the way, do you know David Howells in the storage team at Red Hat?
No, that name's not familiar.
Okay, he's doing some interesting kernel stuff on container objects in the kernel. You might be interested if you're curious to reach out to him.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And he's also writing. He's also building an AFS. Whatever. Hey, we'll talk offline. I appreciate it, Brad. I got your email address. I'll send you a link. I'll send you a note, and maybe we can chat briefly.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any comments on this before we close up this meeting?
There was a upstream. There was a document that documents actually like the all volume plugins and their interfaces, what they look like. I'm not able to find the link. I'll probably post it later. It was created by someone in the community. That's pretty good starting point to learn the basics of like how the whole Kubernetes volume plugin ecosystem works.
Yeah, that would be great. I think we can also go in and update the SIG Storage community page and add some to presentations and things like that. And I think I did that at some point, but may have gotten wiped out recently. I'll go and take a look at that too.
Cool.
All right, folks, thank you very much for your time. For those of you who are in America, happy 4th of July, and have a good week. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.